Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and I'm probably going to irritate a lot of people with how I introduce this, but welcome to my blind reaction to Steven Universe season, is this 5? I think it's 5 still. I think it's counted as season 5. Yeah. I don't know. Season 5, episode 28. So yeah, I have been told by my friends who have already seen this that the finale of the season is basically listed under one title. And I have heard what the title is, by the way. I know that it's called Change Your Mind or something like that. I don't know too much else otherwise about the episode, but I have heard that some people are saying that it might be the series finale. Some people are kind of theorizing that, but here's the thing. If this were a series finale, like if this were like closing out the entire series outside of the movie, they would have made a big deal to say so. Whenever a series ends, a network will always make a big deal about it. Will always, unless it's like canceled or whatnot, the network will always like say, oh, this is the final season, or these are the final episodes. And they make a big deal out of it because it's a big deal. A series is ending, especially one that's as beloved as this. Even Cartoon Network, with its misplaced interest in trying to still focus on Teen Titans Go, even they would understand how big of a deal Steven Universe is to a lot of people, and would understand that if this were the finale, they would say something. They would have to say something. Plus, I have heard from many different sources that a season 6 is coming. And I would assume, there's no guarantee, but I assume the movie takes place after the events of this finale. Otherwise, I don't know really much of anything about what happens in this finale. I've stayed as spoiler-free as possible. I don't know, like, any character stuff. I don't know, like, exactly how it ends. I don't know anything, really. Just as a note, I am still sick as of recording this as well. Earlier today, it was a lot worse than it is now, if I'm being truthful. Last night, even, it was horribly bad. I had, like, extremely big trouble getting to sleep. To the point where I actually could not sleep in my bed because I couldn't breathe. My nose being plugged as much as it was, it would not allow me to breathe while laying down. So I had to come out here and sit on the couch and fall asleep that way. Basically with my head against the pillow back here. And I got some sleep. I did get some sleep from that. And a good amount, too. Like the normal amount I usually get, so it's not like I'm running on little sleep. But I am just saying, like, that's what's going on. That would explain why my voice might still sound a little stuffy and whatnot. And I just wanted to keep you in the loop. Right now, like, it doesn't feel that bad. Right now, like, there's a little bit of soreness in my throat, and obviously my nose is still stuffy. But again, that's about it. And I'm drinking plenty of water. I got my water here. I've been using ginger and garlic and cayenne in the food and stuff I've been eating, which is supposed to be very helpful for colds. The food I've been eating as well, I've been keeping to only certain things. So hopefully I'll kick this. Or at least I'll be able to keep it really, like, low, so that I don't have to worry about it ever getting too bad to where I need to, well, you know, stop doing reactions for a little. Because I really don't want to do that for obvious reasons. But yeah. So as I said, I know pretty much nothing. I do know the title. It doesn't really give me a lot to work with, and I already knew that it was also being like referred to as Battle of Heart and Mind or whatnot. All I know is that basically where we left off, Steven sent word to Bismuth on Earth, and they're going to basically try to get up there and rescue everyone. Everyone on Homeworld, all of our heroes are poofed except for Steven and Connie. So who knows what's going to happen from this point forward. All I will say is if this, for some reason, is the finale of the series, it has to be really damn good. I know this is like the length of 4 episodes, basically. But this would have to be really damn good. And considering recent episodes, I'm a little worried about that, because recent episodes have not been that good. In fact, they've been some of the weakest episodes in the series. And that's including Season 1 stuff. And I think they're some of the weakest because of when they are released and stuff. At this point in time, episodes should not be that weak. Of this show, specifically. But hopefully this quadruple length episode will be a fantastic way to at least finish off Season 5. Now, as I'm saying, my big theory has still been that White Diamond will continue to be a main antagonist going into Season 6. But again, if this is supposedly being seen as a series finale by some people, I'm now worried that that might not be the case, and that this might end up becoming really freaking rushed. Because it might feel like it's just to the point where, we're just going to fix things in this short amount of time after everything went wrong and after pretty much no proper build-up to a finale. I don't know, it just feels like it would be extremely poorly paced and handled if they do fix everything in this finale. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it's not a series finale. Hopefully it's just finishing off this arc, I guess, at the most. Either way, we're going to get into this. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I mentioned it in my pre-thoughts how I was probably going to irritate some people by calling this just episode 28, because I was told it was a quadruple length episode, that it went under one title and that there were no episodic breaks in it. And, I mean, obviously that was clear. It was one episode. It wasn't a 4-parter. It was a quadruple length episode. So, that I stand by. But I'm probably about to irritate some more people by saying I am really conflicted on this finale. Because here's the thing. It did very much, like people had been saying, feel like a series finale rather than just a season finale. And the problem with that is that if that's the case, and if all that's left of Steven Universe after this point is just the movie, that's not a good thing. That would mean that this entire finale, the entire ending, I guess you could say war with White Diamond, and just White Diamond in general, was extremely rushed. To the point of actually really hurting things. The episode itself was really enjoyable, had some really great moments, some great action scenes, awesome new costumes for our heroes. But there's still a lot that feels off if this is if it's a series finale. Again, outside of the movie. Because White Diamond felt like she was barely in this. Her time as a villain and her characterization as a villain felt like it was extremely rushed and honestly kind of forced. It didn't feel natural in its execution. I have no problem with the idea that she just has this belief that she's better than everyone else and has to be better than everyone else and has to make everyone else better as well. Like, that alone isn't my problem. My problem is that she was way too easily swayed. And her inclusion in this series felt almost secondary. Like it was kind of just, it almost feels like it was thrown in last minute, despite the fact that it obviously wasn't. I mean, we know that she had been built up just by having the Diamond Authority symbol with the 4 diamonds. But her actual inclusion in the series was so short-lived that it felt like she was just some minor random bad guy rather than the main antagonist. If she was supposed to be the main antagonist, if she was supposed to be the final boss, to use video game terminology, if she was supposed to be, if this was supposed to be the series finale, she is one of the biggest letdowns of a final villain I have seen. Honestly, compare this to my favorite series of all time, Legend of Korra. Kuvira was built up in Season 3. She had been part of the Metal Clan, and at the end of Season 3, with the defeat of Zahir and all, we saw the embers start to ignite within her that caused her to become like she was in Season 4, or Book 4, or whatever you want to refer to it as. And in the end, it just felt completely right. She had an entire season of character, of time to shine. They made sure that she was given enough enough moments to really showcase her bending abilities, her personality, her mindsets, her actions, everything. Even just the influence that she had on the world was shown in great detail throughout the entirety of the season. White Diamond, by contrast, was only here for a few episodes. And she didn't leave that much of an impact. Yes, she was quite frightening, and her abilities were freaky. But you have to have more to a character than that. And honestly, that's all she felt like to me. She felt like she was, again, just some random baddie. Honestly, Jasper felt like more of a better villain than her. Which is sad. When Jasper, who was basically a minor baddie, felt like more of a real villain than the main villain. And it's just like, everything was, again, solved way too easily. It's like, she sees everything that's going on, and then Steven's like, I am a kid, what's your excuse? Which, by the way, I love that line. But either way, that just automatically basically changes her mind and gets her to completely turn around. That seems way too ridiculous. It seems completely pathetic and makes her look pathetic as a villain. And I have no problem with villains being redeemed. In fact, I wanted all of the diamonds to be redeemed, including White. But I wanted there to be an arc to it. I wanted there to actually be proper build-up, proper characterization that would lead to it. Not just, oh, here's White Diamond, a couple episodes later, she's redeemed, everything's good. So it's like, While the episode was very enjoyable to watch, and I'll definitely enjoy watching it again and again, that was a major misstep in my eyes. And I mean, Steven Universe, honestly, in this final season, has made quite a few missteps. The entire thing with Pink Diamond and Rose Quartz being the same person. These last few episodes before the finale. And so many various other things. They just, it feels like they're trying to rush this out. Like, this is, like, almost like Cartoon Network gave them an ultimatum. It's like, okay, you have to finish things with this season. But it feels like that they had another season or two in mind. At least one more. And had to rush this out just to get it finished. It feels so rushed. And it feels like they had to just throw things together and make snap decisions. And especially with the ending. With all of the corrupted gems being healed, it felt completely just thrown to the side. It felt like that entire scene was this unimportant little side note. Sadie and Lars's reunion. It felt completely overshadowed, and there was really no proper, how do I put it? It didn't feel cathartic at all, let's put it that way. It didn't feel cathartic in the slightest to have them back together, because it just felt like it was completely overshadowed and completely outdone by everything else that was going on, and they didn't even try to make it this big deal. Despite this, for these characters, being a big subplot of the series. It just... Jasper's return. People were really excited for Jasper to return and possibly be redeemed. I, for one, personally wanted her to remain a villain, because I think that would have, it would have spoken better to her character. But even so, just like with all the other corrupted gems and stuff, it was completely just thrown to the side. It's like, okay, yeah, it happened. Cool, fine, whatever. That's it. On top of that, Connie's inclusion in this finale felt almost pointless. And I'm not just upset at that because she's one of my favorite characters. But it's like, why have her there? Why give her this brand new awesome sword if she's not even really going to use it that much? Basically, Connie was reduced to, oh, I'm just going to sit back and watch. And then the only real thing she did was carry Steven's human body to his gem form. That was really the only thing she did. And it feels so upsetting. Obsidian wasn't in there long enough and didn't really do enough to make it really feel like it was a good payoff to that build-up. We only got super brief glimpses at Steven's fusions with the others. They were really brief and honestly just kind of felt tacked on as well. It felt like, oh, people want to see them fuse, but we don't really have any good way to do that. So let's just throw them all in together to get them to reform that way. So much of this felt rushed. Even if this isn't a series finale, even if this is just a season finale and there is going to be a 6th season, it still felt extremely rushed for this storyline. To finish off White Diamond, to basically defeat her this quickly, to have everything basically wrapped up, except for a few plot points that I guess we're just not seeing again, like Mystery Girl and whatnot. It feels so rushed. And because of it, really disappoints me. This season and quite a few parts of it have made this show really dip in quality in my eyes. And have really just dropped the show in my rankings, my personal rankings of my favorite shows. This used to be my second favorite show of all time after Legend of Korra. It's not in my top 5 right now. Honestly, after this, I'd say it's barely in my top 10. And that's disappointing. That's disappointing as hell, because as I said, it used to be number 2. Even above stuff like MLP. But I can't say that anymore. And then Bismuth, Peridot, and Lapis were basically reduced to being pointless as well. Their return, as they came to Homeworld, basically they were plot devices in order to get the arms there, and in order to distract White Diamond for like a second. They didn't actually do anything of note. It just feels like so much of this was rushed, and because of it, so many plot points and elements got wasted. White Diamond is a complete joke of a bad guy. Despite her having an intimidating presence, despite her being kind of freaky, she's a complete waste of a bad guy, and just feels like she wasn't given that much thought and time put into her. A lot of the characters were reduced to plot devices in the end. And a lot of the big plot points were just wrapped up in some of the most unimpressive and least cathartic ways possible. But what did I actually like about this finale? I've talked so long about the stuff I dislike. I've talked about all of the problems I had with it. So what did I like? Well, as I said, it was very enjoyable to watch. Despite all my issues, I actually did have a lot of fun watching it. I thought it was really entertaining. And I've said before that on top of like story and characters, entertainment value is high priority, like highest priority with any piece of media. Whether it's a TV show, a video game, a movie, its first and most important goal is to entertain the viewers. And so it succeeded in that. And while the story was definitely lacking in terms of like plot and whatnot, the characters, outside of the ones who were completely wasted, were good. I liked Steven. I liked the little bit we saw of the crystal gems, and I loved the stuff with the blue and yellow diamond. Like, that stuff was fantastic. In fact, those scenes alone, the scenes with Steven convincing Blue and then eventually convincing Yellow afterwards, those were phenomenal. Some of the best scenes in this series. But unfortunately, when those are the best parts of the episode, it does leave a little lacking. I mean, the fight against White Diamond wasn't much of a fight, let's be honest. And White Diamond's ability to just completely, how do I put it? Her ability to just completely, basically brainwash people and put her own presence into them, while very freaky and leading to some really freaky imagery and stuff, was a completely overpowered, and not in a good way, ability. See, you can have villains who are overpowered and feel like they deserve to be, but because of how misused White Diamond was, she doesn't feel like she deserves to have an ability like that. And in the end, it just stopped them from really being able to even give her a good fight. Because of that, it feels so wasted. Because we wanted a good fight, and we didn't get one. We did not get a good fight here. Honestly, I was more invested in Blue and Yellow Diamond fighting. But again, trying to talk about the stuff I liked. I did like the Yellow and Blue Diamond stuff. I did like the new designs for the crystal gems, including Peridot and Lapis. And I did like getting to see some of the corrupted gems that we had seen in the past reformed as their, well, original forms. There were a lot of great facial expressions, a lot of great animation, and just some fantastic scenes. A lot of it felt really hype at the moment, but again, I can't like stop myself from coming back to the fact that even though it was very exciting and very entertaining to watch, that was mostly in the moment. And that's when stopping and looking at it, it was really disappointing. Again, it wasn't bad, per se, but it was just so disappointing, and certain things were so mishandled, that I just feel like it was not that great, either. So yeah, if this is supposed to be a series finale, that's really, really fucking disappointing. And I hope the movie will make up for it. If this is supposed to be just a season finale, and we are getting season 6, then I have no idea what they're going to do next. Because they've pretty much wrapped everything up at this point. So it's like, where do you go from that? Where do you actually go from there? So it's like, I can't even fully say that I trust that they'll take it in a good direction. That if there is a season 6, they'll make it great. I can't even say I trust in that anymore. And that's really sad to be able to say. I like the fact that Steven is Steven. That pulling out his gem won't, like, cause Pink Diamond to reform or anything. That it's just him. That it's just his gem self and his human self. But without each other, I would assume they'd end up dying. Or at least the human self would. So he did look very weak. And again, I loved the animation where they got reunited. But yeah, overall, I just feel like it was really poorly handled. Like, despite being entertaining, despite being really cool, despite having so much hype in the moment, when you look back at it, it messed so many things up. And like I said, I know that some of you will probably be disappointed by that. I know that I'll probably be getting some dislikes on this video. Oh, she didn't like the Steven Universe Season 5 finale. What kind of bullshit is this? And I'm thinking this because, while I haven't really gotten much of any big spoilers for this prior to watching it, I have heard a lot of people talking about how it's basically amazing, and how it's, after having so many subpar episodes, it's a phenomenal way to end off the season. And, of course, in some cases, people saying series. And it's just like, no, it's not. It's really not. So yeah, overall thoughts on this quadruple length episode. Overall thoughts on this finale to Season 5 and possibly the series. Although, again, I'm not 100% convinced of that. Overall thoughts, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed because they messed up so many things that could have been amazing. Having White Diamond be a villain over the course of an entire season, and a few episodes, of course, at the end of another, would have been phenomenal, and could have built her up as this just amazingly terrifying villain. Maybe they would have had to escape from Homeworld, and they couldn't go back to Earth, because that's where, that would be too obvious. So they have to escape to some other planet or something, or some other gem colony. And then the next season's them basically trying to figure out what to do next, and then eventually having to return to Earth for whatever reason, and yada yada yada. There's so many options they could have done if they had just handled White Diamond's character right and made her a worthwhile villain. There are so many things they could have done if they had handled a lot of these other characters who are in it right, instead of making them plot devices. And instead of rushing through this big grand battle that really feels like it's supposed to be the end of it all. Again, the only way this would be acceptable is if Cartoon Network had laid down an ultimatum. Like that, oh, you have to end this now. And I mean, I could see Cartoon Network doing that because it's like, oh, we're not, people want to watch this more than Teen Titans Go. We can't let that happen. We have to get this show off our network soon so that we can focus fully on Teen Titans Go again. Because, seriously, have you seen some of the scheduling they do? Having marathons of nothing but Teen Titans Go all the time? Despite people hating it? And yet Steven Universe is like their most popular show? And it's like not given much of any proper attention. I mean, heck, because of the network and all, they have to have all these constant breaks. Which shouldn't be happening. And I know other shows on other networks have done that too. But all these constant breaks in between seasons and episodes, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I know this might be disappointing to some of you, but I'm really disappointed by this. Again, I don't think it's terrible, but I would not call it good. It's entertaining, and it'll be fun to watch again and again. But I cannot rightfully say it was a good way to end the season, or if it is a series finale, definitely not a good way to end the series. But tell me your thoughts that'll most likely be different than mine in the comments below. Tell me what you thought of this quadruple length episode. And what did you think of just how everything went? Tell me all of that and more in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,